Hi, you guys, it's Yaz, and welcome to the Game Exposed podcast. If you guys have a brief question on a narcissist and you want to submit it and have your question answered on the podcast, submit a brief question, you guys, no more than a paragraph because it won't be read. Text your questions to 917-636-1109 and text me your questions, and I'll try to get to as many questions as I can and answer them on the podcast, but please make it brief, no more than a paragraph, okay? 917-636-1109. Hi, you guys, it's Yaz, and today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the covert narcissist. And what I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to break this into 3 or 4 podcasts, because what I did is I made a huge list of everything that you need to know about the covert narcissists, how they behave, their toxic traits, how they react to things. So it's going to be a sequel of podcasts that you'll have to go through because I can't fit it all in one podcast. So let me go through this and describe and explain to you everything you need to know about the covert narcissist. Number 1, you guys, covert narcissists are cold people. They're very distant. They don't show their emotions. You never know what a covert narcissist is thinking, how they're feeling, or what they're doing, okay? Another thing you need to know about a covert narcissist is that the way they behave, rather than an overt narcissist, is they're passive-aggressive, okay? They don't communicate directly. Everything is passive-aggressive behaviors. So you need to go learn, what passive-aggressive behavior is, and I'm going to touch upon some of this behavior that they do, all right? What covert narcissists do is they stay very much in control, and they want to make you out to look like the crazy person. They may say things like, why are you getting so angry? Or you're so emotional, or you have anger issues. They want to always use the mental card, and they do it. They're passive aggressive in everything that they do. In other words, when they're angry, they may put a face on. They may tell you everything's all right, and they put a face on. Another thing that covert narcissists do is they love to call you emotional, okay? That covert narcissists are in control of their emotions. They don't like conflict. They try to avoid conflict. Covert narcissists are the ones that always tell you, let's sweep it under the rug, or let's move on from this, or why do you keep bringing up the past? They don't want to take you on toe-to-toe because they can't deal with taking accountability or facing shame, okay? So one of the toxic traits of a covert narcissist is that they can't resolve conflict directly, okay? The other thing that you need to know about a covert narcissist is they love to play the victim card. Why is that? Because you get more bees with honey, okay? And they want they want to portray themselves to everybody else that they are the victim to your wrath, all right? That's why a lot of times what they'll do is they'll actually record you when you're getting angry at them so that they can post it on social media or show outsiders that you are crazy. But what they're doing is they're not showing them everything that caused you to react, okay? They only show them bits and pieces of when you're really angry, and you're angry because the covert narcissist was playing mind games with you and was not transparent with you, or they gaslit you, or they tried to, they blatantly lied to you, and they know they're lying, and yet that will get you angry to the point of, like, let's say you have the proof on a narcissist that they were cheating on you, and you confront them and they still gaslight you and say, I don't know what you're talking about, or that wasn't me, or this is all in your head, or, I don't know where you get your information. And they just kindly, they keep gaslighting you. And what you're doing is you're trying to get transparency out of this person, and you just never get it because they'll never, ever acknowledge anything, all right? Because they can't deal with accountability or facing shame. So they love to play the victim, okay? And the other way they play the victim is maybe when they first meet you, they tell you a sob story about their childhood. This way you don't hold them accountable later on when they do something wrong. They're setting you up. They manipulate you to make you feel sorry for them. They maybe tell you a sob story of their childhood. They had a rough childhood, or their mother didn't love them or was abusive or something like that. And they do it so that later on you give them a pass when they break your boundaries, and you say, oh, well, maybe they didn't know better. They had a rough childhood. And I've actually been a victim of that, where I was dealing with somebody who he had a very rough childhood, and I would make, allowances and be like, well, maybe he doesn't know better. When in fact, he was very slick. He was very smart. He was very conniving. He was very deceiving, and he knew exactly what he was doing. Okay. So they love to play the victim card. Now, I've had other people come back and say, well, you got to be careful with that, because some people actually are victims and may tell you, a sob story or something like that. So don't always assume that it's a covert narcissist. Well, we're not assuming that it's a covert narcissist, because we're going to look at all of the traits that involve a covert narcissist, not just that one, okay? Just that's for anybody that wants to come back and say something about that. The other thing with a covert narcissist that you need to know is that they give you fake empathy, all right? Now, a covert narcissist loves to pretend that they care about you. Sometimes they'll even be very, they'll show you, they'll show you sympathy. Let's say you tell them something sad or something. But what you got to remember is a lot of times it's not empathy, it's pity. And there's a big difference between somebody being empathetic towards you and somebody pitying you, okay? They do things out of pity. And covert narcissists love to do things out of pity because it makes them feel superior, okay? So it's not necessarily that they're being nice because they have empathy for you. They could be being nice because they pity you, and they love to look down on you as being a basket case, a mental case, or just somebody with a lot of problems. And they love to have that superior, attitude, like, oh, I'll help you out or something like that, to make themselves look better. And a lot of times covert narcissists show you that fake empathy in front of other people, okay? Because they're hyper concerned about their image, and they want other people to look at them like they're a really nice person. Look how empathetic, or look how they treat you. Or that's why a covert narcissist may be really nice sometimes in front of other people, so that other people think that they're the nice one, and then you are the big bad wolf. When in fact, it's the covert narcissist who's the big bad wolf that will leave you for dead when others are not around and they don't have to impress other people. So that fake empathy is what confuses a lot of people, and why they keep the covert narcissist in their life, because they say, oh, they were really nice at this time, or we sat down, we had heart-to-heart talks. They can't be this bad person, all right? You always have to look at the intent of something. Why that covert narcissist was nice at times. Now, understand this, all right? This is what a lot of people don't understand. A narcissist can be nice at times. You could have good times with a narcissist, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't a toxic person, all right? Toxic people don't acknowledge the truth. Toxic people gaslight and don't, own the truth. They don't take accountability, and that's where you're going to see the difference. So just because the covert narcissist showed you periods of fake empathy, you got to really think back, what was the purpose in them doing that? Was it the beginning of the relationship where they were faking that empathy because they were trying to portray that they're empathetic so that you would trust them? Or did they do it in front of other people to fool other people, to look like an empathetic person so that when you have a problem with them, everybody thinks you're the bad guy? Or were they just empathetic because they felt like they wanted to be, or maybe they were trying to draw you back in because they saw you were pulling away? These are all it's complex, you guys, and it's not cut and dry. The other thing that you got to keep in mind with a covert narcissist, and I want to throw this other point in, is that a lot of times in the beginning, one of the ways they, reveal themselves or tell on themselves is what a covert narcissist will do, and especially if they know about narcissism, is when they first start talking to you or getting to know you, they may tell you, oh, I'm an empath, okay? What better way to fool you than to tell you they're an empath? Now, when somebody brings up that word, empath, right? That is a red flag that this person knows about narcissism. And it could be, listen carefully to what I'm saying. It could be a narcissist who is trying to fool you by telling you that they are an empath because maybe they know you are educated on narcissism. So what is that narcissist going to do? They're going to portray the exact opposite of who they are to you in order to fool you, okay? So a lot of times, and this actually happened to me, you guys. This is how I know all this. I was talking to somebody, getting to know them, and, he was, very aware of narcissism, and he says, oh, I'm an empath. I'm an empathic person. And I said to myself, this guy's trying to cover up from who he really is, because I knew his track record. That's how I knew he wasn't an empath. He had a very checkered track record, which showed, bad decisions on his part. And I saw about, other traits about how he talked about himself, how he gaslit at times. And I knew he wasn't an empath. I could just tell by the things that he was telling me about his ex and everything. So he was trying to fool me into making me think that he was an empathic person when he really wasn't. And this is something that covert narcissists do. Now, you guys, I'm moving along. I'm going to really lay it out in these coming podcasts so that you, by the end of this series of podcasts, it's going to be 3 or 4, you're going to really know when you're dealing with a covert narcissist. You're going to be able to spot it. The next big one, and this is a biggie, is when the covert narcissists are dismissive, okay? What does that mean? They don't acknowledge what you're saying a lot of times. By being dismissive, in other words, they may text you and they don't respond to you for hours, days. They get back to you when they fucking feel like getting back to you because they're showing you that you're not that important, okay? It's a way to dismiss you and make you feel like you're not that important. And it's also a way to get you begging for their attention, okay? So what a covert narcissist does is they hold back. They may give you a lot of attention in the beginning, but then once they know they've got you, they could be very dismissive and they have you where you're constantly begging for their attention. They could be cold to you. They could be unaffectionate with you. They may not want intimacy with you, and they're dismissive. They make other excuses too, why they don't want to be intimate or why they didn't call you or anything like that. So another thing that you need to know with the covert narcissist is that they're very, very dismissive. And you'll see it too. I've seen it with people that I've dealt with, whether it was, educators for my son or in the medical field when I dealt with certain doctors and psychiatrists for my son or other people, authoritative people, that they can be dismissive, all right? So when you try to explain something to them, they kind of just blow it off, or they turn and they make like they don't hear you. This is what a covert narcissist loves to do. They may turn their back. They may pretend that they don't hear you. And somebody made this point and it was so spot on. And I did a reel on this. Go to my YouTube. And I talked about how a covert narcissist tries to mind fuck you. All right. The mind games that the covert narcissists do. And what they do is they pretend they don't hear you. So you're sitting there and you're like, did you hear me? Does that make any sense to you? Do you agree with me? They want you to keep asking them, did you hear me? Are you listening? Okay. When in fact, they heard everything that you fucking said, but they're pretending like they didn't, or they're playing oblivious, okay? Nobody loves to play the dumb card or oblivious more than a covert narcissist who wants to dismiss you. So a lot of times they sit there like a stone and they say nothing, okay? There's your covert narcissist, all right? They're not having a back and forth conversation. They're not even disagreeing with you. They're leaving you on pause, okay? And what does that do? That has you begging for them to say something, for you to beg them, do you agree? Did you hear me? Or something like that. They love that. They love you begging for their validation. Don't do it. The minute that you see that they're sitting there, they're playing like they're in a cloud when they're really listening to every single word you're saying, is the minute that you walk away. You're dealing with somebody who's playing mind games on you, okay? Now, I'm moving along, you guys. I got a lot of information here. So I'm piecing it out and going to do it in 3 or 4 podcasts. I'm trying to get in as much as I can. All right, so they're cold, they're distant, they're passive aggressive, they call you emotional, they can't resolve conflict, they play the victim, they give you fake empathy, they are dismissive, they can't communicate directly, and here's another big one, they use sarcasm to give you a dig. They love to give you a dig and make you feel insecure by being sarcastic, making a little snide remark, because they're wise asses. A covert narcissist is a basic wise ass that is going to give you a little dig. Basically, in a nutshell, you guys, a covert narcissist is basically an insecure, coward, wise ass that is trying to put you down in a submissive type of way, okay? So they'll make a remark and then they'll say, oh, I was only joking. Oh, you can't take a joke. Oh, you're so sensitive. Oh, you take everything the wrong way. Or they'll say something like, there you go again, taking it the wrong way. No, listen to me. If you feel a certain way, there's a reason you feel a way. That's because that person has slighted you to make you feel like there's something wrong with you. This person is not lifting you up. This person is not, in your corner. These are not your people. These people are counter-working to hurt you, okay? Now, the next point I want to bring up, all right, is that covert narcissists are also gossipers. The king and queens of gossiping is the covert narcissist, okay? They just love it. The minute you have a falling out or you have an argument with the covert narcissist, what's the first fucking thing they're going to do? They're going to call up their flying monkeys and rip you to shreds. They love it. See, the covert narcissist needs that validation. They need these flying monkeys to come back and say, yeah, you're right. I don't know how you deal with that person. Or, oh, yeah, they have mental issues. Oh, yeah, they take everything to heart. Oh, yeah, they have anger issues. Oh, they're sensitive. Oh, yeah, they're insecure. So they need their little cheering squad, okay? And they love to run to their flying monkeys and gossip about you. Or what they do is when they can't get through to hurting you, They will hurt you with other people. And the way they do that is to triangulate and use other people to hurt you. And they do that by bad-mouthing you behind your back, okay? They're gossipers. So trust and believe, when you're dealing with a gossiper, 9 times out of 10, they're probably a covert narcissist, you guys, all right? So this is part 1 of me describing all the toxic traits of the covert narcissist, and I know them so well because I was married to one over 13 years. I got them in my family. I got them all around me. I've worked with them, and I have laid out some massive list here of all the traits and toxic behaviors of these people, and I'm going to lay it down in this series of podcasts. This is part 1, so that you guys, after listening to, the 3 or 4 podcasts, I have to see if it's going to roll out to 4 podcasts. After listening to all these podcasts, you're going to know exactly when you come in contact with that covert narcissist. You're going to be like, I'm dealing with a covert narcissist. I'm seeing these behaviors. So I'm going to lay down everything. I put down this list of behaviors, you guys, is like really long. That's why I got to break it down into like 4 different podcasts, because I don't want to hit you like with, a 3-4 hour podcast where you're going to get, it's going to be too much for you. And so this is part 1, and I'll be coming out next with part 2, describing how this covert narcissist is a basic wolf in sheep's clothing to try to fool you, how they communicate, what's their trump card, how they work, okay? You're going to understand that covert narcissist inside out, and you're going to be able to spot them after you listen to the series of podcasts that I'm putting out now, all right? So this is part 1. If you like the podcast, hit the subscribe button, share the podcast, and go to my YouTube if you want more information. I have a lot of videos. I have over 4,000 videos on YouTube getting into everything, all right? A lot with the covert narcissist. So go to the Game Exposed podcast on YouTube and go check it out. And if you want more posts, go to my Instagram at the Game EXP 123. And my Facebook page, you guys, the official page for the Game Exposed is the Game EXP 123 on Facebook. The backup page on Facebook is the Game EXP 707. Any other Facebook pages are fake pages. They're not me. Please go report any of those fake pages, because it's not coming from me. There's other, people that steal reels and they try to post it and pretend that those are my pages. So again, the Game EXP 123 on Facebook, Instagram, and the backup page on Facebook is the Game EXP 707, okay? I hope that helps you guys. If it does, click, share, and have a great day. If you guys are having a problem in your dating or relationship, or you're dealing with somebody maybe that's narcissistic, you don't know if they're a narcissist, or you're just having problems, you're in a toxic relationship, and you need some clarity on it, go to the link in the podcast description for my website where I offer email and phone coaching. If you have a quick question, just a quick question, and you want to get a video sent back to you answering your question, there's also a link there for Vizio where I will send you a personalized video answering your question. Hi, you guys, it's Yaz, and I want to tell you about my 2 books on Amazon. The first book is Regain Your Power. It's all about power and relationship. Who has the power in the relationship? And it goes into all of that, okay? The other book is Signs He's Not Into You, He's Wasting Your Time, okay? Check it out. It gives you a lot of good clues as to whether you're with somebody who's a real one or somebody who's just going to waste your time. You could read them both with Kindle's free trial membership. So check it out. Link is in the podcast description. Hi, you guys. I just want to let you know that the Game Exposed now has their merchandise available. Check out the link in the bio, and you could go check it out. There's cool hoodies, cool sweatpants, cool hats. So go to the bio for the link. And also, don't forget to follow me on Facebook at The Game EXP123, and also on Instagram, The Game EXP123. Okay? And have a great day.